Happy Thursday morning. Going to be doing my Thursday night football picks as well as just looking at some of the headlines from yesterday. Just kind of doing a quality test video, see if I get any of the evil green screens again. Trying to figure out what's going on with that. I'm actually using a different browser this time. Before using Brave, now we're using something called Chrome Canary. It's just amazing how many different flipping browsers that you have out there. Joel, we're on the course behind the microphone and getting ready for the Bucks tonight. And of course, we'll do my picks over and under, spread, and money line in just a little bit. But yeah, of course, everything this week about Philip Rivers. Oh boy, I think it's long enough after Perna's rankings that we can do spoilers. And boy, it looks like it's the Steelers. Looks like it's the Steelers this week. What does that mean? Mike Tomlin stays on. You have another year of Aaron Rodgers. Ooh, so yeah, with the Dolphins, Steelers and Dolphins locking up. What does the curse wheel mean? Landing on the poor Steelers. But of course, non-Perna news. Let's get to, of course, Philip Rivers back in action. He's practicing, as that's just been the non-stop narrative. Yep, microphone is on, so hopefully it's going through. Ravens calling Lamar's DNP on Wednesday a rest day, so no need to worry or panic if you got Lamar rolling this weekend. And then how about Gronk? Gronk, you gotta love Gronk, right? And Big Boo, and Big Boo. Gronk says he would return to the NFL for a $1 million signing bonus paid on the spot to play on the scout team. Gronk, don't change. And how about interesting? The NFL notifying teams today from Adam Schefter that it will shorten the time between picks in the first round of the draft from 10 minutes to 8 minutes, starting with the 2026 draft in Pittsburgh. So you know the Jets pick's going to get moved, right? David Njoku, this is from Underdog NFL. David Njoku knee, Dylan Sampson calf hand, Cedric Tillman concussion, do not practice Wednesday. Of course, it's early. It's early. You still have Thursday practices. You still have the Friday practices if they're playing on Sunday. So you got to monitor forward going forward, and dot is that developing. And how about Philip Rivers asked whether he was current, what his current weight was. You got to love this response. What is your current weight? Quote, I'm not sure, not what it was when I walked off the field in Buffalo, but it ain't ran away from anybody anyway. You missed the Philip Rivers. What the hell is he talking about, right? Did you miss that? It's back. And yeah, let's see. We got the Bucks, of course, are listing Mike Evans as questionable for Thursday night game versus Atlanta tonight. You know he's playing tonight. Come on. You know he's going to do an Amon-Ra Sun God return to lead the team to a victory. And I'm probably doing little spoilers for what I'm doing later. But yeah, you know he's going to do Sun God. You saw what the Sun God did. He's like, yeah, I'm doing that. T. Higgins, of course, still practicing a limited capacity for Wednesday. He will practice in a very, very limited basis, according to Zach Taylor. No kidding, no spit. After you saw it, his head banging into the ground. You got to be careful. He's a definite important part of their offense, even they may be not quite in it to win it going forward. But oh boy, how about if you're looking for a sneaky streamer? Saints, they're stepping up. They just handled the Bucks. The Bucks, not a team to look past. Tyler Shuck seems to be legit offensive weapon all in himself. So who knows? Chris Rodriguez, Roy did not practice today. If you picked him up by waivers, no panicking. Just Wednesday, still off Thursday. Still a Friday. Mike Kafka said that Tyrone Tracy is good to go dealing with that hip, so you got him on fantasy. That's a good no now. But you got to feel for Joe Burrow, right? Got to feel for Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow being melancholy, talking about needing to find fun in football during his birthday press conference. Oh man, that's a tough loss. That's a tough loss when the Bengals lose. When you put up 4 freaking touchdowns. When you toss 4 freaking touchdowns, you still lose. That has to suck. I'm sorry. There's no way around it. Alvin Kamara and the ankle doesn't practice Wednesday. Wouldn't be surprised if he's out again. Still dealing with those injuries. Neil do job as backup. Yeah, Saints offense still. Yeah, I mean Olave just 30 yards. They still beat the Bucks. That's still insane. Colts Riley Leonard, full practice, week 15 starter, TBD. Come on, you know it's going to be Rivers. You know it's going to be Rivers. He didn't do all this to not come back, even if he is sacrificing his Hall of Fame eligibility, shoving that down a couple more years. Then we got Woody Marks and Nick Chubb, both absent from Wednesday practice after suffering injuries during Sunday's win over the Chiefs. Yeah, once again, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Thursday, Friday. What happens Thursday, Friday? Yeah, it's Wednesday. Not talking about the game, not talking about the game, talking about practice. Not talking about the game, not talking about Thursday and Friday, not talking about Friday, talking about Wednesday. Jane Daniels, of course, who suffered left elbow injury versus the Vikings, is out for Washington's upcoming game or Tank Bowl against the Giants. Come on, say what it is. Say what it is, kids. Say what it is. Devontae Adams dealing with a hamstring. Did not practice Wednesday. Hamstring possible out for this week. We'll see. We shall see. Geno Smith, of course, considered very unlikely to start Week 15. Welcome in Kenny Pickett, likely to start if you're desperate for a quarterback, and you got to be desperate if you're thinking any Raider options. You've got to be desperate if you're thinking any Raiders options. Of course, Mike Evans' collarbone has shown everything he needed to show in practice, according to head coach Todd Bowles, to be activated and make his return Thursday night versus the Falcons. Can you just imagine? Can you imagine when he is announced the cheers that will erupt fantasy wise? Oh man. Let's see, of course, Schottenheimer talking that he feels good about Lamb clearing concussion protocol. So it's bad news for Jake Ferguson owners, but good news if you're hoping that CeeDee Lamb will be out there. Cowboys desperately need him. Pickens all of a sudden all alone. Not quite the good scenario as we saw. Pickens finally having an off week. But yeah. Drake London, good news from the Bucks, ruled out for Week 15, ruled out for tonight. So who's Kirk Cousins going to throw to? Then, of course, how about Shane Steichen asked if Philip Rivers is the first player he's ever coached who's older than him. Quote, response, I've coached him when he was older than me before, so obviously with age, everybody gets older. That was true 10 years ago. Okay, then. You gotta love press conferences, right? Gotta love press conferences. Sound like another Michael Wilson week, potentially. Marvin Harrison Jr. not practicing on Wednesday. We'll have to see once again next 2 practice days. But so far, sound like could potentially be another lock and load Michael Wilson week. Cardinals not activating Trey Benson from IR. His season is over, so if you got him, yeah, might want to drop him. Mike Evans, Jalen McMillan, of course, activated from injured reserve. Gotta love that. And then, final story, how about none other than C.J. Stroud? He got a video highlight getting a high five from Texans owner Cal McNair. So, there you go. Just some news and notes from around the league. And now we go to my picks, my news pickings for tonight. Tampa Bay minus 4.5 favorites. I'm taking the Bucks. I'm taking the Bucks. I know the Falcons are close, but who do the Falcons have to throw to? Who? No Drake London. Murky's the waters a bit for the targets for Captain Kirk. So Bucks money line have to take Bucks red. Also have to take Bucks money line just because I have that much faith in Mike Evans coming back. Hopefully Tristan Wirfs going to be in there to help back up line. About saying sign a little Jason Pierre-Paul. Little news there. Little news there for the Buccos. And then with the over and under, always a tricky proposition. I've got to go the under. Weather's getting cooler. Teams are more injured. Teams are banged up. Everybody's playing hurt to some extent. I think that knocks things under. And my final thought is, how about this whole kerfuffle? Going on with the Raiders? Because I saw a story on YouTube that oh man, just some of these headlines, folks. Some of these headlines stories. Raiders being investigated for felony with that last field goal right before time expired. Really? Felony? Really? Yeah, I'm doing the Google thing. I'm like, okay, there's a clickbait headline. Then you saw a more reasonable one, which it was a local newscast talking about the field goal that just directly affected the point spread. Directly affected. And all of a sudden, right before time expired, and the Raiders kicked the field goal. You're like, what was that for? That's absolutely nothing. They can't win the game. It doesn't help them out. But see, gambling, it has an effect on. Huh? Then of course, yeah, Barstool Sports and Portnoy and when you're calling for a head coach to be off, literally, you're saying the M word. Oh my God. That is just crazy because I know when people get invested literally when it's a lot of money and something like that happens, but holy crap. It's just what many reactions would be. We've seen people crazier takes, bust the TVs, throw the TVs, they baseball bashing the TVs, but yeah, it's just crazy and I doubt anything's going to be done. I doubt anybody is going to be looked into. I doubt anything's going to happen. It just a constant reminder. As much as gambling has in some cases helped for some of these games, some of these times that if it wasn't for gambling, if it wasn't for fantasy football, would there be any interest in said contest? Probably not. But then when you have something like this happen, it always brings to forth the seediness, the potential for manipulation that is there, and always the precautionary measure that, as good as gambling has been for sports, you also have the Pandora's box. It is open. The ugly side, the manipulative side, the side where when you have stuff like this happen, well, why did they kick the field goal? When you've got the crazy scandal that just happened in the NBA with the poker, the X-ray and the poker and everything, and then you had Lakers, I think it was, who were being investigated for leaking information on who was sitting or who wasn't sitting for load management to to bettors. There's all kinds of craziness just going on back and forth. And every time gambling is thought that it's decent, it's good, and it adds another dimension to sports. It also adds another tricky, slippery slope. So it's something always at the NFL has to be brutally careful about. When you have something like this happen, why did they kick the field goal? And you have a major media personality calling for a head coach to be offed. Yikes, that's crazy. But that's my final thought. Here we go. Thursday night football should be an interesting game. Not sure what's going to happen. Hopefully the Bucks will win. They got the Carolina Panthers hot on their flippin' heels. Now, if they want the NFC South, Todd Bowles wants to take a little heat off of his seat, then a win tonight would be ideal. Go Buccos. Hope nobody on either team gets hurt in a serious way. And we'll see what it will be with the rest of the week. And I'm Joel Vrone. Hope the test was successful.